Matt, grab those chairs.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Township of Wainfleet regular council meeting of September 9th, 2025 to order. This time I'd ask everyone to please stand for the national anthem. We would like to begin the meeting by acknowledging the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunees, and the Haudenosaunees peoples, acknowledging the One Bowl and Spoon Treaty. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, please note that these meeting proceedings are being broadcast live, recorded, and made available through the Township website and YouTube.com. Thank you to everyone who attended the Marshville Heritage Festival over the long weekend. We look forward to the annual Wainfleet Fall Fair beginning September 18th. The Court of Revision for the Aldry Drain will be held here in Council Chambers tomorrow at 4 p.m. Our next regular meeting of Council is Tuesday, September 30th at 6:30 p.m. Are there any announcements or remarks from members of Council? Seeing none. Okay, we're going to move to the adoption of the previous Council minutes. I have a motion that the minutes of the regular meeting of Council held July 29th, 2025 be adopted as circulated. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Councilor McClellan? Councilor Anderson, thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, we have no public meetings this evening. We do have two delegations this evening. Nick Donofrio is here to speak to us regarding fees for the cemetery plots. Mr. Donofrio, you have 10 minutes to make your presentation. Donofrio? No? Is he not? Mr. Donofrio, are you present? All right. I guess Mr. Donofrio did not attend tonight. So we will move into our second delegation. Our second delegation this evening is from Greg Chu with the Long Beach Private Properties Owners Association, who is here to speak to us regarding beach control, access, and use in Wainfleet. Mr. Chu, you have 10 minutes to make a presentation.
A little taller here. Just let me know if you can hear me okay. First of all, I'd like to thank the mayor and council for the opportunity to speak today in front of you. As you can see, we've got a full crowd. I'm here today with a number of residents of Wainfleet as well that have come in support so that you heard the message from myself and from us. We're here as friends, not as foes. I want to make that clear. A little bit about me. I grew up in Niagara. I'm 50 years in Niagara, so that probably ages me a little bit. I've lived in multiple cities within the region, Niagara Falls, Niagara Lake, St. Catharines, Welland, and I'm a property owner, taxpayer in Wainfleet. So I've had the blessings of experiencing many of the most municipalities within the region. And, you know, I can tell you one thing, we're here today, and I'm here today because of the love I have for Wainfleet. As a property owner, and that's why the people behind me are here. They're here because they also have a great deal of love for Wainfleet. It's not just about Long Beach, although we're here as the Long Beach Property Owners, Private Property Owners Association. We're here because of the love of Wainfleet. Property Owners Associations, we kind of have a guesstimate. It dates back to 1959. Diane Goodwillie, who's here, sent me a news article in Buffalo News dating back to 1932 on how an association member actually saved somebody right off the shores of Long Beach. So it might actually be a lot older, but we're not here to debate that today. What we're here to talk about today is the importance of the lakeshore, the waterfront, and the beach area accesses. And I can tell you, as doing a little bit of research over the last few weeks on this, and this is not a new discussion for the town of Wainfleet. It's not a new discussion for the NPCA. It's not a new discussion for the region. But I think it's an important discussion. And I think it's a discussion that's never really been concluded, and that's why we're here today. Wainfleet's home to one of the most beautiful waterfront beaches in Ontario, and some would say around the world. I mean, I've brought guests to my cottage from BC, and you know, if you've been to BC, everybody talks about how beautiful it is, but my guests couldn't stop talking about how beautiful Long Beach was and is. And when I started digging into some of the homework here, and we look at kind of who controls the beachfront, that's why I decided to come in front of council today and be a delegate and at least speak to you, and you know, gain the support of the membership of the association to make sure that we're all speaking the same and have the same voice, so you hear one solid voice. Wainfleet, and we're here today to talk to Wainfleet about, you know, going back down the road that was started back in 2011, at least as far as back as I can find, by creating a secondary plan for the lakeshore area and the beach area. Now, doing some research, I realized that the NPCA created a master plan for the beaches in Wainfleet, but it really only addressed their beaches. So they control two of the largest beaches in Wainfleet. The region controls another large beach in Wainfleet. The Township of Wainfleet controls mostly access ways and roadways going onto the beach, which are okay, but they can cause problems with owners and tourists and people enjoying the beach because there's no real regulation or amenities at any one of those. So instead of allowing, I guess, other forms of government to kind of control the waterfront and the uses along the waterfront, the reason I'm here today is I'd like to ask council to at least consider creating a secondary plan for the area. And what that does for a township is it starts to create rules and boundaries and uses, and it digs down deep, and it allows for public participation through the secondary plan process. There's a number of municipalities in the region that have gone through this process for many different reasons, some of which, you know, maybe that there may not be, our municipality may not look the way it is today in years to come in terms of the political boundaries of the region. So creating these secondary plans allow for municipalities to kind of dictate not even just the short term, but the long-term plan for the use of land. So instead of relying on others, when we don't know whether we're going to have, depending on which provincial government you listen to, whether we're going to have a regional government, whether we're going to have 2 cities, 4 cities, 12 cities, whether the NPCA is going to be in control of land as a landowner because it's going through its level of changes. The message here today is why don't we take control of this plan ourselves as a municipality. Start that process. It may be a long process, but start it. And you know what came to the forefront are the 2 properties I wanted to talk to you about today that are just really just more examples. There's multiple things that have popped up since I spread these notes to the folks in this room that have also come up as issues that I wasn't even thinking about. So again, the purpose of a secondary plan is to walk through those issues. Back in 2011, there was a study formed for, it was a master plan, it was a recreational master plan on behalf of the township. It was published by F.J. Galloway and Associates and prepared for the Township of Wainfleet. And then since 2011, and some of those things may have been implemented. I don't know if the plan is being followed anymore. It was I could only find a draft version of it, not a final one. In 2015, a committee was formed specifically about the beaches to try and figure out which beaches, the pluses and minuses of all the different beach accesses throughout the township of Wainfleet. And again, I think that just fell by the wayside. So, and if it didn't, I apologize. I'd be happy to review the material that I don't have that may exist. So the urgency today that kind of stems or speaks to why I think we need a secondary plan. So for the last couple of years, there's always been rumors on the street about whether or not the region of Niagara is going to surplus the regional beach, 24 Lakeshore Road. And I can tell you that, if we sit and wait for it to happen, it's going to happen eventually. And the region, for its reasons, bought that beach back in 2010. And I want to read to you why the region decided to buy that property, because I think it's important. And I think we have an opportunity to get in dialogue with the region and stop it from happening, to make sure that the public, not just of Wainfleet, but of the region, have access to the waterfront and access to the beach. So I think it's important. They purchased the property in 2010 to protect natural heritage habitat, birds, small mammals, and the Fowler's toad, provide public beach access for Niagara residents, ensure shoreline protection and environmental resilience, maintained by the town of Wainfleet, parking for 50 cars, portable washrooms, bikes, and bike racks. Hundreds of families use this beach daily in the summer. I was there last weekend, the weekend before, just to get a sense of how many families use it. It's incredible, the number of families using that beach. And they're all staying within the confines of that beach. You may have a couple of strays going here and there, but it's really well-behaved family people using that beach. In the room today, there's a couple of neighbors that live right next to that beach, and they would be saddened to see it go into the private domain and developed. So they're here today to support this as well. This property and its protection are important and form part of the Wainfleet Master Plan. In your own master plan, Section 5.6, improving public access to the waterfront, it states that it's a policy of the township that publicly owned lakefront waterfront lands are to be maintained in public ownership, including any concession road stubs. Township shall encourage other government agencies to assist in the purchase of waterfront lands in strategic locations to improve public waterfront access opportunities. Lands adjacent to the Lake Erie shoreline shall be dedicated to the municipality at the time of development through parkland dedication in accordance with the Planning Act, Section 3.9 of this plan. The township shall endeavor to reduce conflicts between landowner and non-landowner use of the shoreline and shall work with other government agencies to provide a key access locations, parking facilities, washroom facilities, garbage facilities, and other amenities. Declaring 24 Lakeshore Road surplus would be in conflict with your own master plan. So it's important that you fight for it. There's another beach that has been under discussion probably for, I don't know what my time is here, guys. Any idea?
Sorry, Ms. Chu. Yeah, you're just under 1 minute left. So.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk
Don't want to interrupt you. I want to let you get your word in here.
I can ramble, so just be
have
careful. All right, so we're going to talk about we're going to talk about Pegasus Construction-owned lands, which is the beach access off of Augustine Road. And look, I use this access off Augustine Road. My cottage is close by. It's acts and walks and looks like a public beach. It always has since I've been coming here when I was 18. My kids grew up on that beach, and we've been coming here for 30 years. You know, the fact of the matter is that it's in some sort of a defunct situation where the municipality, through a provincial process, has the opportunity to acquire the beach. And it's public knowledge. It's out there. So we're here to talk about it just a little bit and be respectful of what we say. Our message about having a secondary plan is so that if the township ends up with the ownership of that beach, that there's an actual plan with regards to parking, washrooms, garbage, bylaw, policing. Because right now, a lot of the residents in this room, we do all that. Garbage, call the bylaw, call the police. You know, when there's an issue, we call the town and get a hold. We are the masters of the beach. And we're okay to do that, but I just don't want to see the municipality getting into a position where they own a beach and don't have the adequate amenities for people. If your plan is to park people on Brown Road, which you've allowed the residents of Wainfleet to do, my question is Brown Road, again, just as an example, is it wide enough? Is it safe enough to accommodate 100, 150 cars showing up? And if it's not, that's okay. Maybe the Wainfleet should still own the beach. But at least start the plan now. Don't wait till you own it. And then we're dealing with it. And it's not just we that live on Long Beach, it's the entire city dealing with it. So my message is, you know, secondary plan allows you to build a long-term vision for sustainable public access and environmental protection. It establishes clear policies for management, amenities, and enforcement. It strengthens the township's position when negotiating with the region, the NPCA, or the province. You guys have an opportunity to set your own plan, and we're here to support you as people that care and love Wainfleet. It matters just not for us. It matters for our kids and our grandkids. And I said this on my presentation. Public beaches are irreplaceable. Once they're lost, they're gone forever. So be very careful about giving them up because of finances and money and costs, because I know that's the argument. Let's figure it out. If that's the only argument, let's figure out what the cost is. Let's come up with a plan or a way to obtain and keep these lands for public access for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Ms. Chu, for your presentation. Are there any comments or questions from members of council, or does any member of council wish to make a motion? Councilor McCullen, go ahead.
So, Greg, thank you very much. I get what you're saying. I understand you think that it is a money issue, is what it comes down to. We run a very tight budget here. I see there's a councilor from St. Catharines. Their budget is probably 25 times what ours is, if not more. You know, we give a lot of money to the region every year. They're not really good at giving it back to us, right? Or doing the work here that should be. I've brought it up at a number of political parties, and I always get, thank you for your contribution. You're helping us in the north very much, right? So they know they're not giving their part. But yes, we all care about it. We talk about this all at budget time. We talk about it all through COVID when all of you were having problems down there and half of Toronto was coming here to get to a clean, free beach in a nice place. We understand that. But I'm also told, as of today, it's not on the block for the region, but the region's broke. So when their budget comes up, it may come up on the block. I'm not sure for sale, right? But all we can do is wait and see what happens, right? To do a secondary plan here, I don't know, but I could ask the CAO What do you think that would cost us to hire a consultant and start doing that? Is it 100,000, 200,000?
Through the mayor to the councillor, I wouldn't want to speculate, and it's also, we can't make a, well, I wouldn't want to suggest making a master plan that we aren't partners with the owner of the property. We don't own the property. I have confirmed as recently as Friday that it is not actively for sale. They do have some, the region does have some properties for sale, but housing continues to be their priority as it is a provincial priority. So this is not, there are some council members that will bring it up at budget time. That arguably they're not even in the north, they are actually in the south. However, they would like to sell that off for income, but the region has confirmed with me that if that was ever their intent or interest, that they would partner with us and the conservation to try to come up with a collaborative plan in terms of not losing that beachfront access for our residents.
Go ahead, Councillor.
And through you, Mr. Mayor, and I understand, and maybe the CEO can confirm this, but that property is already deemed not for residential. So if it goes, it can't go for development.
I can take that. Yeah, I can take that. I did some digging this afternoon, once you and I spoke about it, just to double check to see if it was actually zoned residential. Currently, it is actually zoned C3, which only allows for cabins, lodges, golf courses, campgrounds, seasonal trailer parks, resort, or existing dwellings. The big highlight on this is no new dwellings are permitted on that site. Right, so that is a plus. I'm sure many of you know, as I sit here, I look at most of my neighbors that I recently just moved away from. I was one of you. I used to patrol the beach myself and try to be a good steward of the beach. Nobody at this council wants to see any of our beach accesses lost, right? That's not our intent. We would love to save every piece of the lake that we possibly have. It does come up regionally every year. When I sit at the regional council budget, there are a couple regional councilors that bring it onto the chopping block every single year, and every single year I sit with directors behind closed doors to make sure that it stays off that chopping block. Currently, the CAO and myself just last month had a meeting with one of those directors to ensure that it is not coming onto that block again this year. That doesn't mean they're not going to try, but even moving forward as we talk about this secondary plan, the township will be going through its official plan soon enough. And during that official plan, if by chance we happen to, own those properties during that, we can start those processes then, whether we want to do something with those beaches and the things that we can particularly do to those beaches. Yeah, go ahead, Greg, of course.
Mayor Grant, I just went through a secondary plan with the town of Niagara-on-the-Lake, and their secondary for the Glendale district. So all around the outlet mall and all around that area. They did a secondary plan, didn't own it. The town doesn't own any of that land. So you can do a secondary plan whether you own the land or not. I wasn't suggesting to do a secondary plan specific to the regional beach. I'm suggesting doing a secondary plan for all of Lakeshore, which will address and include all the beaches, whether you own them or not, whether they're owned by Lakewood or NPCA or the road accesses, the region, the conservation. Because if you do that secondary plan now, and I'm just using this as a hypothetical, but if the province ever told the NPCA you have to sell land and they give it back to you, or you can't afford it, if it's zoned open space through your secondary plan, it's a little more difficult for a developer to come in with a wrecking ball and just say, I'm going to build houses. Listen, I'm pro-development. I'm standing here before you as a commercial realtor, but I'm not pro-development of waterfront beach where the public access is wiped out, or the birds are wiped out, or the frogs are wiped out. Like I'm a developer with balance, and that's why my point really about secondary plan is just have a master, like not a master plan, a secondary plan within your official plan for that area, because it is a different area from the rest of Wainfleet, right? It's a high tax base area. It's people from all over the region come to access it. We pay the region a lot of money for Wainfleet on our taxes, John. I see it. I see my tax bill, right? They bought the land with our tax money at $1.35 million in 2010, and now they're saying it's not worth it. Well, that was my money you paid to buy it. It's my money, right? It's their money.
Absolutely.
It's your money. So if they're going to go make a profit off our money, we should have a say in what they're going to do with it. And I think by creating that secondary plan, it puts barriers and boundaries up, not just for the region. I'm not here just to pick on them, for everybody. It sets the game plan and it involves the community. Secondary plans are very public and open, and they take a long time. And to your point, they cost money. They're not easy to do. I don't know. Without doing it, what's the old saying? Without a plan, you plan to fail, right? So.
No, I agree.
So to speak to that, right, just talking to the CAO, we are about to embark onto the official plan. There are RFPs going out for the official plan. So during that process, we can take that into consideration and do it all at the same time. Instead of doing a secondary plan that costs more money outside of that, we can capture that and put in those plans within our official plan. And then, what's that? Yeah, we can get a scope for it, and obviously get council direction as to whether or not council wishes to do that. But I can honestly tell you that everybody sitting in this chamber today definitely wants to save all of our beaches. None of us want to be, known as a council that loses the, Long Beach area. I can tell you that. Yeah. Are there any other comments or remarks from any other members of council? Councilor Gilmore, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor, and thanks for the presenter. In light of all the discussion, I would move that we receive it for information and go from there.
Councilor Wainfleet, you'll second that? Okay, any other discussion then? Okay, Councilor Anderson, go ahead.
Thank you, Greg, for that presentation. I'm just wondering if you wouldn't mind, if you haven't already, I don't have anything in front of me, if you wouldn't mind sending a suggested draft list of your concerns and possible rationales to fix those or to adjust things, or if you could send us, as a resident in that area, I'm also a beach person, so I get the sand between my toes too, so I really do appreciate beaches, but if you could send us a very succinct sort of memo about cause, effect, and issues that you'd like to see, and we can include that in our discussion going forward. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, with that, I will call the question. All in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay. So we're going to move on to the consent agenda. We have no items on the consent agenda this evening. At this time, we can take a 5-minute recess, unless you guys wish to stay for the remainder of this meeting. You're welcome to, but we will take a 5-minute recess in case you want to,
come back at
So, moving into staff reports and recommendations, we have Administrative Staff Report ASR 15-2025 respecting the South Niagara Hospital contribution. In Mr. Hart's absence, I will now look to the CAO to provide a brief overview of the report.
Recommendation. So through the mayor to all of council, so the request came as a delegation to a previous council meeting. Our staff's recommendation at this point is to wait until we have some more information from our asset management plan and bring this back at budget time for consideration in terms of the contribution amount.
Thank you, Madam CEO. So I have a motion that the Administrative Staff Report, ASR 15-2025, respecting the South Niagara Hospital contribution be received, and that council defer the consideration of this request until draft budgets for 2026 and the asset management plan information are available in order to make the decision with a full understanding of financial implications and long-term infrastructure priorities. Can I have a mover and seconder? Councillor McClellan, Councillor Wainfleet. There is no discussion on a deferral, so I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay. Moving into drainage staff reports, we have DSR 7-2025 respecting the Ellsworth Drain Engineering Report update. Mr. Jemison, can you please provide a brief overview of your report?
Great, thank you through you, Mr. Mayor, to all of council. So Drainage Staff Report 7 is providing the engineering report update that was completed by RJ Burnside Associates for the improvement project on the Ellsworth Drain. So this project was kicked off in 2020 to update and improve the existing municipal drain. There's a number of meetings held in compliance with the Drainage Act in February of 2020, July of 2022, and May of 2024. So the recommendation is to direct the report to the consideration meeting as per Section 41 of the Drainage Act, and we're going to have that scheduled as a standalone meeting on October 2nd. So I'm available to any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Jemison. So I have a motion that the Drainage Staff Report DSR 7-2025 respecting the Ellsworth Drain Report be received and that staff be directed to advance the Ellsworth Drain Engineers Report for consideration at the October 2nd, 2025 council meeting as per the timelines outlined in Section 41, Chapter D, 17 of the Drainage Act RSO 1990. Can I have a mover and seconder? Councillor Gilmore, Councillor McClellan. Any discussion? Seeing none, I will call the question. All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, moving on to DSR 8-2025, respecting the award of tender for drain reconstruction, Northeast Consolidated Drains numbers 2 and 4. Mr. Jemison, once again, can you please provide a brief overview of your report?
Great, thank you through you, Mr. Mayor, to all of council. So Drainage Staff Report 8 speaks to the tender results for the reconstruction of the Northeast Consolidated Drains number 2 and 4. So in compliance with the township procurement policy, the township received one bid and recommend award the project to Anthony's Excavating Central Incorporated. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Jemison. So I have a motion that the Drainage Staff Report DSR 8-2025 respecting the award of tender for drain reconstruction, Northeast Consolidated Drains 2 and 4, and that the council directs staff to award the tender for the reconstruction of the Northeast Consolidated Drains 2 and 4 to Anthony's Excavating Central Incorporated. Can I have a mover and seconder? Councillor Wainfleet, Councillor Anderson. Any discussion? Councillor McClellan, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, is it that small a job that we can't get a second bidder?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I was kind of surprised as well. I think a bit of a loophole in it was that there was a regional culvert, a box culvert needs to be put in place under Forks Road. So I think that deterred a few of the other people that we usually see. Just on the scale of the project, it was a bit of a mix between your typical municipal drain open ditch and that concrete box culvert. So I think that kind of limited some of the bidders.
Yeah, I hate giving things when there's only one bidder, but it is what it is. Okay.
Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, then I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, moving on to DSR 9-2025, respecting the petition for drainage works for the Heeg Branch Culver Drain. Once again, Mr. Jemison, can you please provide a brief overview of your report?
Thank you through you, Mr. Mayor. So Drainage Staff Report 9 is discussing a additional petition for the Culver Drain project. This was kicked off in 2019 for the Shafley Road Drain and Culver Drain improvement projects. Based on the needs of the watershed and the proposed design by the engineer, The engineer recommended that we secure this additional petition to help maintain compliance with the Drainage Act. So I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. So I have a motion that the Drainage Staff Report DSR 9/2025 respecting the petition for Drainage Works Heek Branch Culvert Drain be received, and that council accept the petition for Drainage Works and authorize staff to provide the petition to Headway Engineering to be included in the Culvert Drain Improvement Project. Can I have a mover and seconder? Councilor Gilmore, Councilor Anderson, any discussion? No discussion? Good. Oh, okay. All right. Then I will call the question. All in favor? Opposed? And that is also carried. Okay, we're going to move into the review of correspondence. We have 2 items of correspondence on the agenda for consideration this evening. Correspondence item C-156 respecting support for Bill 9 Municipal Accountability Act 2025 and the importance of mandatory leaves of absence for elected officials charged with assault. Can Councilor Anderson or Councilor Wainfleet, sorry, you requested to pull this item. Do you wish to make a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to receive this and support it. I'm not sure if everybody knows what's going on, but there is a member of council within the region that has been charged with assault, and he's still sitting on their council making decisions for the people. And one of them, he's charged with assault. Obviously, he's not convicted, but he should be removed to not make decisions where you've been charged with assaulting a person. Right? So I think that we should support this.
Okay. Can we have a seconder?
Are you, I was going to say, you guys.
Councilor Gilmore, any discussion? No discussion? Councilor McCullen, go ahead.
You, Mr. Mayor. The man's been charged, he hasn't been convicted, or the woman, I don't know who it is. And until you're convicted by a court of law, we shouldn't be passing judgment on anybody. 25 years ago, it could have been myself.
Councilor Wainfleet?
If I may, we're not passing judgment on him? We aren't. We just want him to be removed. We are. Just removed from council until the court case.
That's a provincial thing, it's not our job.
Councilor Gilmore?
This is provincial legislation proposed. So if it passes, it passes, so, which it probably is going to pass. So all we're saying is that, I mean, some of us are saying is it's not a bad idea. It may or may not pass, and then that won't be our problem, but is it a good idea or not? You know, I'm with you, charged, convicted, yeah, they should, at very least, suspend them, remove, you know, in some cases, I'm not hung up on it. I think that if it's coming from the province, there's obviously a problem with this and other cases. I don't think it's specific to one case. Is it a generic problem? Well, what is this about?
So through the mayor to Councillor Gilmore, so this specific piece of correspondence came out of Niagara Falls, which was targeted, I would assume, based on an incident that is actively occurring. So they're requesting more stringent, I guess, requirements on the bill that is about to be passed. However, the province is working currently on a code of conduct. They say that it's supposed to be passed in the fall that will hold councillors accountable for, I mean, this is very specific, charged with assault, except the code of conduct will hold councillors accountable for even mistreating staff, mistreating other council members. It's more generic than just assault. And they're actively working on that, and they think that that bill is going to be passed in the fall. So, I mean, I don't have an opinion one way or the other. I don't think it's a municipal responsibility. I think it's a little bit out of our lane. However, up to council, if they would like to support that, then we're happy to follow through as staff.
Councilor Anderson, go ahead.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. I must say that, you know, personally, I think that we're a little bit early to the preview of what will or won't be passed at an upper level of government. So I'm not sure that any discussion here or any decision here is even germane to the topic yet. So my opinion is that we probably just receive this for information and go forward with that.
Go ahead, Madam
Through
CEO.
the mayor to Councillor Anderson, I'm not actually sure that the province is like, oh, Wainfleet supported that, we're going to make a decision one way or the other, in all reality, except the motion that Councillor Van Vliet has proposed is to receive and support. So that would be the motion that was on the table, unless there is some sort of friendly amendment. Otherwise, that is what she proposed.
Go ahead, Councillor Anderson.
So, under procedure, can I just move that we receive that for information only and not support? Friendly amendment or not? You have to
No,
vote.
we can't because
We have to vote on the first one?
The motion's already been made, and yeah, unless there's a friendly amendment made by the mover,
Okay.
which is,
The reason I want to support it was to get it in the public domain so people are aware that this is happening. Not only here, like in the Falls, but across the province, that it's kind of an act of bullying. And I've been on the receiving end of it. So I just want people to be aware, not physically, but I have been bullied. And it's not, yeah, and this code of conduct and the bill that comes through will address this. So I want to bring it publicly so people are aware that it actually happens.
no other discussion? Seeing none, okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? That's defeated. Excuse me. Moving on to correspondence item. Oh, okay. Councillor Anderson, if you would still like to make a motion to receive that as information, now would be the time to do so.
Yes, I'd like to say that we receive it for information as per sort of correspondence policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a seconder? Councillor McClellan? Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. She can abstain. Okay, moving on to correspondence item C-162, respecting the advocacy for provincial scrap metal legislation and bail system reform. I pulled this item and will make the motion that correspondence item C-162 from the City of Brantford respecting advocacy for provincial scrap metal legislation and bail system reform be received and supported. Can I have a seconder? Councillor McCullen, any discussion? I will just make comment in regards to the bail system reform. I don't think this is, specifically just towards scrap metal legislation. I think obviously province-wide, we need bail reform. And I just support this because this is an ongoing thing. We see in the news and what's happening within our township every single day. We got to stop letting repeat offenders get back out on the streets. So that is the reason why I chose to pull this item. So is there any other discussion? Councilor Gilmore, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I totally concur with the bail reform angle of it. It's not just here in the region and in the province and the country, it's everywhere. And watching the news is depressing. So, yeah, anything that gets done will be a bonus.
Thank you, Councilor Gilmore. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, so we have no bylaws for consideration this evening. Are there any notices of motion this evening? Okay, seeing none. We do have a closed session this evening, so I have a motion now that council move into closed session to discuss item under section 239(2)K of the Municipal Act 2001, a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board. One item, an agreement matter. And then item number B is the minutes of the closed meeting of council held July 29th, 2025. Can I have a mover and seconder? Councillor McCullen, Councillor Anderson, any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call a question. All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. We'll now move into closed.